What's going on, everyone? I'm not going to lie. They had us in the first half when it came to the Celtics trading for Kristaps Porzingis. What a roller coaster ride this has been. It's been all over the place. And what a crazy offseason already. And we haven't even gotten to the draft day. I'm excited for tomorrow. I am pumped. As a basketball fan, I don't know how you can't be. But the original deal was supposed to be the Celtics, the Clippers, and the Wizards. But the Clippers ended up backing out for concerns of Brogdon's injury. They're really concerned about that. Hey, it's the Clippers. I don't get it. I mean, your entire roster is usually injured. But nonetheless, they ended up backing out. And the Celtics and the Wizards were able to find a new deal with a third team. And that team was the Memphis Grizzlies. And here is the full breakdown of the finalized trade. Boston will receive Kristaps Porzingis plus the Grizzlies' number 25 pick and 2024 first. I don't know how they pulled this off for basically Marcus Smart, but go them. I mean, wow. But anyway, so Boston ends up getting that and ends up fleecing everybody in this deal somehow. And Washington gets Tyus Jones plus the Celtics number 35 pick. And then the Memphis Grizzlies get Marcus Smart, which is probably the biggest surprise out of all of this. But, solid trade. Washington, Tyus Jones, they probably keep Tyus Jones. I think if they get a quality deal for him, then maybe, but I could see Washington maybe potentially keeping him. Regardless, Boston, they won the deal. They got some draft picks out of it on top of that. But Kristaps Porzingis is basically an upgraded version of Al Horford, or what Al Horford provides, right? That defense, the rim protection, the floor spacing, being an elite shooter and being able to knock down shots. I think that this definitely makes the Celtics better. I absolutely do. I do have some concerns, though, with Kristaps Porzingis. Obviously, the easy one is injuries, right? He's been not the most dependable when it comes to injuries and in that department the last few years, but he was pretty healthy this past year and had one of the better years of his career this past season. But beyond him, in the injury history, my biggest concern is just the overall fit. I think, the Celtics really need a point guard to set things up. I really believe Chris Paul is going to the Lakers, but now I really think the Celtics need Chris Paul badly. Like, I really do. I think the Celtics need Chris Paul, extremely bad. And so now Chris Paul makes a lot of sense for the Boston Celtics because now you got that point guard that kind of make everything glue, right, and put everything together. But my concern is just the Celtics are so ISO heavy at times, right? It's a lot of one-on-one with Jason Tatum, a lot of one-on-one with Jaylen Brown. Where does Kristaps fit in? Does he just kind of become a spot-up three-point shooter? Also, the Celtics, there's some concerns about the point of attack, right? Your point of attack defense, losing Marcus Smart is going to hurt badly. Now, White is a great defensive guard, don't get me wrong. He's probably going to end up being the starter and kind of play that Marcus Smart role. So it'll probably be him, Brown, Tatum, Horford, and Porzingis. Or you could even go Porzingis and Time Lord. That could be something. Robert Williams. That could be something that you could do. But regardless, definitely think that this makes them better. It's just going to be interesting to see how the shape of it all kind of plays out. But moving on is Tyus Jones, right? I think that this was a great pickup for the Wizards. They kind of went from a trade where they didn't really get anything in the trade, right? They were going to get a Marcus Morris, right? And that would have been okay, I guess, but they weren't going to keep him. They were probably just going to waive him. They're just trying to clean house. That's all they're trying to do. They're just trying to clear the books. Tyus Jones does that. On top of Tyus Jones doing that, he's a guy that they could keep, right? I mean, he is 27 years old, so it depends on how, where do they want to go? Do they want to just completely tear it down and just start fresh and just get a bunch of, 22 to 24-year-olds and try to build that way? Or do they want a nice little mix, right? Because they could have Tyus Jones for the next 5+ years, and he'd still only be 32 in his prime. And look, the Grizzlies were very good with Tyus Jones. Very good. And winning record with him. In a lot of categories, they were just better with him over Ja. Now, it doesn't mean that he's better than Ja, but he He's more closer to a traditional point guard than Ja is, so he's a guy that can get everyone involved. So it makes a lot of sense, right? For the Wizards to get a guy in Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones probably starts now, so that kind of gives them an opportunity to kind of scout him as a starting level point guard sort of full time, because he's kind of just been the supplement guy, right? The backup point guard, arguably the best in the league, but he's the guy that comes in, and when Ja is out, he can kind of step up and run the show. But for him, it's like, I know Ja is coming back, so like I don't have to be perfect all the time. So it'll be interesting. I'm actually really curious to see how he looks for the Wizards. I think that he has a lot of potential in that department. And I think, and wouldn't be shocked if they end up keeping him long term and kind of have him as their point guard and kind of start putting pieces and players and stuff like that orbiting around him. I guess kind of building around him, but we'll see. But solid pickup, great acquisition for them. The biggest surprise is Marcus Smart. And I actually think the reason I'm not like sign the Celtics up for NBA champions now that they got Kristaps Porzingis is because they lost Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart, in my opinion, was the heart of that team, was their grit, was like their guy. You saw him on numerous occasions, getting guys riled up, getting guys hyped, kind of being that leader in many ways. And I think that that's going to hurt the Celtics a lot. I really do. And I might actually make a video independently about this because I really do think that that's going to hurt. The Celtics will be fine at the point guard position, right? They still have White, still have Brogdon. You can always just go and get somebody. You just need somebody that can bring the ball up, maybe play some defense, because you just need somebody that's going to give the ball up to a Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, that kind of thing, right? So it's not a huge blow in the sense of like the overall production, but what he does for that team as kind of a glue guy, I think is going to hurt that roster more than they realize. It'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. But again, Celtics definitely got better. As far as the Memphis Grizzlies, I mean, name me a better player in the league than Marcus Smart as far as like Grizzlies mentality and mantra and fit. Not like necessarily talent-wise, but like Marcus Smart is a Memphis Grizzly type guy, right? Hard-nosed, gets to it. I'm curious to see what they do when Ja comes back. Do they go with Ja, Smart, and then maybe, like now, you're going to let Dylan Brooks go, so move Baines to the 3, right? That is something that most likely is what ends up happening, is my guess, because I don't think you're going to bring Marcus Smart off the bench. Ja, they're not trading Ja, and I don't think that they're going to trade Desmond Baines, but I am curious to see how that works. I do think Marcus Smart, I do think he will help this roster in many ways, right? Being, again, that glue guy, being that foundation guy, being a guy that kind of can keep everyone focused and rallied together. But I don't think he is a better natural point guard than Tyus Jones. I think he is a better player, and even that I think you can make some debates about, but I think just Marcus Smart's physicality, just the intangibles that he has, I think are better than Tyus Jones. But Tyus Jones is a better sort of set up traditional point guard, if you get what I mean. So I don't know how much he's going to help when Ja is out for that 25-game suspension. I do think he helps a lot when Ja comes back. But I also think it's going to be interesting because that means the Grizzlies are going to be small, right? Because that means you're going to have Ja, Marcus Smart. You're going to have to move Desmond Baines to the 3. And Desmond Baines is what, 6'5"? So you're undersized at that wing position. And Marcus Smart is really streaky when it comes to three-point shooting. Ja can't really shoot threes very well. So how good are they? And then you got Tillman. I don't know. I mean, if they even bring Tillman back, it's gonna be interesting to see how. I'm curious to see how the Grizzlies turn out and shape up this season, because it could end up being a disaster. But I don't know. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think of this trade? What do you make of it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Who do you think are the real winners? How do you think that this all shapes up? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below.